It is official. Elena Delle Donne has retired from professional women's basketball. And while the news is not shocking, especially with the decision to sit out in 2024, it still hits hard. When we think about Elena Delle Donne, she is a player who was transcendent in a lot of ways. She was a post player who had guard-like skills, who could do a little bit of everything on the court. In the paint, she got you. Mid-range, she got you. Three-point shot, she got you. She was someone who was absolutely dominant, both in college and in the pros. And she was someone who, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, deserved a victory lap. But she left the game the way that she played it, on her terms. Now, this Instagram post was what was posted earlier today. And here's what Elena Delle Donne had to say. She said, one of my favorite children's books asked, how did we get so late so soon? How did it get so late so soon? I've asked myself that over and over again in the process of coming to the decision to retire from playing basketball. Being able to say it out loud was one of the hardest parts of my career. My body seemed to make this decision before my mind accepted it. But I now truly know this is the right thing for me at the right time. Words cannot adequately express how thankful I am to my family, all of my incredible teammates, friends, executives, sponsors, staff, and most importantly, the amazing fans that have accompanied me on this journey. This game has been my life, and I am grateful for the memories and how much it's given me. It feels good to close this chapter knowing I gave it my all, and I can't wait for what's next. This was what Elena Delle Donne posted on Instagram earlier today. And, it's kind of how it feels, man. How is it over already? After 10 seasons in the WNBA, 2 MVPs, 1 championship, 7 All-Star appearances, and a level of efficiency that most players could only dream of. Elena Delle Donne was someone who was amazing. She's stepping away from the basketball court, and she's leaving a legacy that is something that we may not see for a while of someone of her stature. Now, let's go through the career of Elena Delle Donne, and we go to her college. Elena Delle Donne was someone who was from Delaware. She's from Delaware, and in order to understand her dominance, you kind of have to fully look back to not just when she was in college, but when she was in high school. She was a high school phenom back in the day. She was the number 1 recruit in the country in the class of 2008. She initially committed to Geno Auriemma and UConn, but in what was known throughout the land as a famous decision to leave UConn, this was something where she committed to UConn, went on campus, and left UConn just days in. At the time, she said she needed a break from the game, but really, the thing that made her leave UConn was family. Specifically, her older sister, Lizzie, who was both deaf and blind, and she has cerebral palsy. That bond, that need for physical connection between Elena and her sister Lizzie, it has shaped Elena's entire life and was a part of the reason why Elena Delle Donne, who was the best freshman in the country, left UConn, a famed program, to go play for Delaware, University of Delaware, where this team was not very good, right? But she went there and she made a statement. At the University of Delaware, a school where no one was checking for women's hoops, Elena turned it into a mid-major powerhouse of sorts. She was a 2-time first-team All-American. She scored over 3,000 points. She made a Sweet 16 appearance at Delaware, and she packed houses at Carpenter Center, which is where Delaware played. She wasn't just a hometown hero. She was a national sensation that decided to do her work back home. And when it came for her to leave college and go to the WNBA, that's where it really took off. And her drafting in the WNBA is really where I and a whole lot of WNBA fans really got to know Delle Donne. Elena Delle Donne was drafted number 2 in the class of 2013. This was the 3-C class. We had Brittany Griner, number 1, Elena Delle Donne, number 2, and Skylar Diggins-Smith, number 3. And Elena Delle Donne made immediate impact. Immediate. She was, again, drafted number 2 to the Chicago Sky, which is why I have such a huge affinity for Elena Delle Donne. This was a team that was not very good in the Chicago Sky. They had never been to the playoffs before Elena Delle Donne arrived. Then she changed things fast. In 2013, in her rookie season, of course, she wins the Rookie of the Year. Again, she had some significant competition as a rookie, I should say. But not only was Elena Delle Donne fantastic when it came to rookies, no. She was fantastic in the WNBA, period. She finished 3rd in MVP voting as a rookie. Rookie of the Year, 3rd in MVP voting. She was someone who got the Chicago Sky to their first playoff berth in franchise history. And she was someone who wasn't stopping there. Finishing 3rd in MVP voting as a rookie, sure, and it's an accomplishment, but Elena Delle Donne was not finished. She kept leveling up. Her game continued to evolve, and by 2015, she was the WNBA MVP, putting up 23.4 points a game and 8.4 rebounds a game while shooting the literal lights out. Now, when it came to Elena Delle Donne, it wasn't all about the numbers. It was just about how smooth and how effortless her game really was. Elena Delle Donne was tall. She was 6'5", but she had a guard's handle and she had a shooter's touch. She could drop 30 without breaking a sweat. It was easy peasy lemon squeezy for Elena Delle Donne. But behind the scenes, off the court, it wasn't always as smooth for Elena Delle Donne. Elena Delle Donne dealt with a lot of stuff. She dealt with Lyme disease, chronic pain, and eventually back issues that would lead her to ultimately a series of injury. Elena Delle Donne ended up requesting a trade from the Chicago Sky, forcing a trade basically, in 2017 that led her to the Washington Mystics. This was a blockbuster trade that was absolutely huge. And at DC, Elena Delle Donne continued to thrive on the court. She was an MVP again. She was a member of the 50, 40, 90 club. She was someone who brought a ring to Washington. Elena Delle Donne was someone who was able to elevate her game even further. She was already elite at Delaware. She was already elite when she was a rookie with the Chicago Sky. She was already elite when she won that first MVP. And then when she went to the Washington Mystics, she became historic in a lot of ways. In 2019, she did something that no other WNBA player has ever done to that point and has ever done since. Elena Delle Donne had a 50, 40, 90 season. Now, if that makes no sense, well, let me break it down. That's 50% shooting from the field, 40% shooting from the 3, and 90% shooting from the free throw line. Epic. For comparison, there are only a handful of NBA players in history who has ever done something like that. No one in the WNBA has ever done anything like that. Will we ever see someone do something like that? Who knows? We'll see. But the fact that she was 6'5", basically a post player, shooting lights out from the 3, shooting lights out from the free throw line, and carrying a team at the same time, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. And speaking of carrying a team, Elena Delle Donne was, in my opinion, the biggest piece to the Washington Mystics getting to the finals in 2019. Elena Delle Donne, she, as I said earlier, she's dealt with a lot of injuries. She played through a couple of bulging discs in 2019 in her back and still helped the Washington Mystics get their first ever WNBA championship. That championship was her legacy ceiling moment. And, you know, in a lot of ways, that's a claim to fame that she has right now. That she was someone who, through all the injuries, through all the stuff that was happening, Elena Delle Donne got her team to a championship and got them that championship. The first ever in Washington Mystics. And at this point, the only championship for the Washington Mystics. Now, the high of 2019 came with a bit of a crash. Back surgeries, lots of setbacks. Only 3 games played in 2021, limited to only 25 games in 2022, a hip issue in 2023, and then nothing. She sat out the entire 2024 season, declining the Washington Mystics core offer and staying unsigned. Now, in a lot of ways, I felt like we were heading towards this retirement last year. We just didn't know when. And thankfully, unlike Maya Moore, who left us guessing for years and years and years on if she was going to retire, Elena Delle Donne gave us some clarity today. She said goodbye. A moment to appreciate her is what we're doing right now. And I just want to break down the legacy of Elena Delle Donne. So she won 2 MVPs in 2015 and 2019. 1 championship with the Washington Mystics in 2019. She won Rookie of the Year in 2013. She's a 7-time All-Star, 4-time first-team All-WNBA, the only WNBA player in the 50-40-90 club. She is an Olympic gold medalist, won it in 2016, and she is a member of the WNBA 25th anniversary team. Beyond all the accolades that Elena Delle Donne has won, she meant something way more than just basketball. She made places and teams relevant. Elena Delle Donne made the decision to leave UConn and then make Delaware matter. She got drafted to the Chicago Sky and made the Chicago Sky relevant. She gave Washington, D.C. a banner. She brought grace and heart and power to the game. She showed up for her sister, for her teammates, for fans who just needed to just celebrate somebody, right? Elena Delle Donne meant a whole lot to the game of women's basketball. And she is staying involved. This is not like she is leaving for good. She is joining Monumental Basketball as a special advisor. She also has a whole bunch of other stuff that she's doing. She has a wine business as well. She is also an advocate for people with disabilities. Again, a very deeply personal cause due to her sister Lizzie. While this is an end of the playing era of Elena Delle Donne, the thing that I want you all to remember is that Elena Delle Donne did not just play the game of basketball. She helped to elevate the game of basketball. She helped to continue this trend of point forwards, guard-like forwards who can absolutely both handle the rock down low and at the three-point line. She was someone who went through a lot of stuff, a lot of injuries, and someone who literally played at the highest level with Lyme disease, which is something that you don't really see very often. She gave us 10 unforgettable years. And for us, for those of us who, were, Sky fans, we will always remember the way she made the Sky fans feel. Like, we thought that the Sky could do anything when Elena Delle Donne was on our team. So, happy retirement. Elena Delle Donne, you have earned every bit of it. All right, guys, that is my, kind of ode to Elena Delle Donne. Again, I thought she had a fantastic career. I'm bummed to see it, end. However, injuries are a thing, and eventually they will all catch up to you. And that's what we see for Elena Delle Donne. It's a bummer, but at the same time, it is what it is. What do y'all have to say about Elena Delle Donne? Y'all got any thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. All right. KT says, Sue, Diana, Elena, back-to-back. Yep. W. Bazil says, how does this affect the draft? Well, I think it just gives clarity. Like, now Washington, they know for sure that Elena Delle Donne is never coming back to their team. And so now they can fully move on. They can fully move on. Felix says, honestly, I didn't know who she is. Thanks for the education. Well, thanks for rocking with me. Salute to you. I figured that a lot of people, that some people did not know who she was, right? Some people had no idea. And now you will. Now you do. Anna says, wish she was able to benefit from the new CBA. Thankful for her career and what she did for the league. Yeah, she did. She did a lot. Tulip says, the Mystics and CBA ruling robbed us of seeing the twilight of Elena Delle Donne's career. The only member of the WNBA's 50-40-90 club, 2-time MVP and champion. Yeah. It is a bummer. It is a bummer to see. Allie, yes. Guys, did you all know that Elena Delle Donne did have her own Nike shoe? She did. She did have her own Nike shoe, which I thought was pretty awesome. She had her own Nike shoe and then she got hurt. And then she wasn't really able to promote it like that. But it would be cool if Nike did a quick rerun of her shoes. Because when her shoes were out, I didn't pick them up. And so if it would be cool if in honor of her retiring, it would be very, very cool if Nike were to re-release her shoes. That'd be really awesome.